welcome to FACEHAMMER Day 2. I'm Russ the Faceville, and I'm joined by Owen OJ Jackson to talk about FACEHAMMER. And that's why we're here, right?
Absolutely, man. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
No, so we thought we'd give you an update of where the dust has settled and where the broken bits of people's dreams have laid, and who's at the top and what's occurring on the top tables. So I know you've been obviously doing the coverage for the Honest Wargamer crew and collecting all the information, so I basically haven't had to. So now I can lean on your expert work and just pretend like it's mine, which is what I do.
Lean away, Russ. Lean away.
Okay, cool. I do know.
Yes, as Russ says, I'm here as part of the Honest Wargamer team. We're looking around all the tables, and I'm getting all the hot goss. So it's been really interesting actually being able to look at the flow and the development of the tournament. Obviously, yesterday we saw a lot of Fire Slayers doing well, certainly in rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I believe Andy's still up there.
Andy's still up there, yeah. He's got his big block of half.
And Focal Points was the mission this round, is an excellent mission for this army, because you basically ball up onto the middle of the table and string across 2 of the objectives in the middle with your big half guard unit, and nothing's really going to shift you.
No.
So he's playing Michael Brown with the Flesh Eaters, I think that how many attacks was it those ghouls did? And
66 attacks.
66 attacks. One wound. That's efficiency, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's hardcore berserkers.
All you got to tell him, you have to roll like how many would that equate to? Like 2,000 attacks, and you might kill them.
Exactly. He said he's just not going to bother rolling the dice next time.
No. Just take a wound each turn.
Yeah.
It's 5 turns. You'll get through them, right? That's how it works.
Basically, he's not losing that middle.
No, he's not. No.
So the Fire Slayers, they did well yesterday in rounds 1 and 2. We had Ricky Mee doing very well. I think he ended up taking a minor in his game 3.
Yeah.
But no surprise, Slanesh have been doing very well. There's good players playing them.
And I mean that's the thing about top tier armies. They like good players gravitate towards them, which kind of skews the results. Because there are other armies that are popular and they're also effective if played well. But when a book's kind of a little bit on the more powerful side, you see that even like average players can do well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I mean, there's looking at it yesterday. There weren't any Slanesh players in the bottom half. Everyone was doing at least 2 and 1, and then those names that you recognise, people like Brian Carmichael and Michael Wilson. Obviously they know the armies really well, and they're piloting them with great success.
I think Mike Wilson's my sort of dark horse pick for this event, because he's been playing Slanesh for years, and basically he knows the army, and he's always been the guy that's played a solid game, but always ended up on like 5th, 4th. Never really got there, but this could be his year.
So he's been the bridesmaid for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's time for him to.
I would like to call it the Terry Pike position back in the old days.
So he's actually on table 1 right now as we speak behind us.
Is indeed.
Against Richie McCallie from Just Play with his Gits.
Yeah.
Mike's looking good, right?
When I looked over, Mike's army was in the middle of the board, pressing. He was kind of sweeping around the side, onto that left side, and Richie always looks very focused. I think he knows as well, in his head, he's probably worked out that he's up against it. So Mike's strong favourite for me in that mission.
Yeah.
I think.
We have had one result on the top tables.
Oh, okay.
Dan Bradshaw with his Skaven. He was drawn off against Chris Tomlin, taking Draconis out for the last time. Chris was up. I mean, he was having a really good time. It's just he felt that he needed the double. At one point he needed the double and he didn't get it. And even though I think Dan didn't do as much damage in the mid-game with his Storm Fiends, the Dragon started falling, and then no bodies. The Dragon Princes were gone. So I think that was all over.
Yeah, I mean, Order Draconis is a bit of a glass hammer, so...
Blow the horn, get in.
Go in, and then it all just dies.
Yeah.
Normally.
So Dan's 4-0. He's definitely going to be on those top tables. He's the only Skaven player. There's some other top players here who brought Skaven, maybe not doing as well as they expected.
I think the Skaven armies are quite strange, because everyone seems to gravitate to the Storm Fiend list, but I actually still think the strongest list is a balanced list. Some of the lists we saw at the ETC were really good. You had like one Plague Monk unit, you had a Bell, you had some shooters, like whether that's Giselles or Acolytes. It's kind of a mix. You had like one Warlock, Then you have some clan rats because you have to, and then other bits. And I think that kind of all-rounder list with the vortex and that is probably more effective than I've got this one unit with this one combo. That as soon as you play someone who can, I could just take the combo out.
New to that.
Then what are you going to do? They're dead. You can't do it. So it's fine.
No,
so,
I think it's more difficult to win with Skaven. In some, when you look at Slanesh perhaps, but that I think the points do allow for you to have that really interesting mixed arms force with Skaven, doesn't it?
I think the thing with Slanesh, and it's the thing that I think AD's struggling a bit with while looking at his games, is what I found when I picked them up for ETC and I played a couple of games, the traditional way you play Age of Sigmar is you put your screen and stuff in the front and your characters at the back. And with the Slanesh, you flip that on its head.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So basically, I looked at the game and AD's playing Ben Curry, and all of his units are dead, but his keepers are alive. But what you want to do is flip that round. Put the keepers in, they're going to do loads of damage and die, but then you're going to have the depravity to bring them back on, and you've still got the follow-up attack of the Demonettes or the Cav, and they're capturing the objectives. So I think that mindset in your head is really important. And I think when people play against Slanesh, they don't factor in, oh, they're going to get this depravity, they're going to put a unit over here, I need to make sure I've got something to block it. There's no point me charging that keeper because I'm going to just lose my unit, so I'm not going to charge it. I'm just going to screen it, I'm going to capture the objective and play smarter. And I think that's why Slanesh do so well, because there's a lot of players you'll come up against that will just push their army into you. And it's the same with the Fire Slayer block. A lot of people would just go, oh, there's a big unit, I've got a hard unit, I'll push my hard unit into their hard unit, and then their unit kills yours, and then you're like, oh, I've lost the game. And actually, sometimes you need to think a little bit more and think, no, that's not a good idea.
No, I think there's enough content out there saying that these are the pitfalls, right?
Yeah, but
people should know.
Unless you play it, you don't get it.
Because you do think, my 9 Scythe Hunters with +1 attack, they can take a chunk out of that.
Is this your Sylvaneth player talking from experience? Is this the... Yeah.
Well, Laurie's just killed Archaon, so they can do something.
Yeah, but they're good. I mean, they're a solid unit, but it's like anything, you've got to deliver your impactful units in the right way to make the biggest impact. And sometimes they're better off going around and killing the ancillary units.
Yes.
And not... Because, I mean, I've played games before where I've literally just ignored the big thing and just tied it up because I can't kill it, but I can kill everything else.
Yeah, and then you win on the scenario, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, looking at two great players, we've got Brian Carmichael against Mark Wildman.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone can take apart that Slanesh build, it's probably Mark, right, with that Archaon, because he's got the 6-inch pile-in.
Yeah, and also
the Locust.
And also, if you Slayer a King's a keeper, you don't get any depravity because it's not any wounds, you just remove it.
Okay.
So you slay it outright
and it just goes.
It's just dead.
Wow.
And it happens before you get into the allocation sequence. So all the other attacks, even if they do damage, they wouldn't have been allocated yet. So if you Slayer a King's a keeper, they get no depravity.
That's interesting.
So it's a massive way to switch off that mechanic.
Yeah. Well, looking at it, it was quite cagey. In my notes, Brian went up early and pinned, but only with like the Hellstriders. And then, in contrary to what we were talking about and the way that you see Slanesh being played with the keepers, they're all backlined. He's got 3 on the back line there.
Maybe he's worried about the Archaon effect. Wants him to commit Archaon, then he can counter-charge. Because the problem is, as soon as you play someone who's got the 6-inch pile in, like you're playing Sisters of Slaughter, for example, or Marathi, you can't do that thing of just push the keepers forward and let them charge into you.
You have to be a bit cuter, I suppose.
Yes, you do.
And that's great. And that's when the better generals will rise to the top, right?
Exactly,
because they can do that. On the stream right now, I'm not completely abreast of that because the guys are covering it, but it's JP Stevens against James Tinsdale, Deepkin, which obviously a great counter against Slanesh. That's a rerun, same mission, same players of Game 5 of Blackout. And that went to James, who took out the title. And JP's never beaten him by all accounts.
I think James is fairly confident. I think he even won the turn roll and gave it to JP.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, obviously, that he swaggered off to the bathroom. He maybe was a bit excited, I don't know.
And he's been practicing Slanesh as well, hasn't he?
he
James?
plays them as well, so he knows the army, So
he's only going to have himself to blame if that one doesn't turn into a W, right?
No, exactly. But he's one up, so he can afford to let one go, right?
That's how it works. That takes all the pressure off, right?
No. I mean, I think I'm more interested in the Deepkin Bone Splitters game.
Yes. This guy Luke Morton for me, he's come from nowhere, but obviously he has got a history in fantasy.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys, the old school guys, you know him, right?
Yeah. I mean, he turned up,
play.
won like everything, and then disappeared. I remember I played him at an event, and I'm the only player. Apparently, I'm the only player to have 20-0'd him in a game. So I'm,
So you 20-0'd Mr. 500, right?
Yeah. Then he went away, never come back. Well,
maybe
effect I have on people.
You
I
need
don't
to
know.
dust off an army and get on the table with him then.
Yeah, well, I think Ian Spink's going to take him down.
Really? I
Yeah.
couldn't quite read that board, you see.
Well, I looked at it, and Ian deployed, and he almost left a flank semi-exposed to bait him in, and he counter-charged with a boar unit, and his character in the ruck was still alive. And then he hand-gaunt the other unit, and that's when I walked away from the table.
That's how the ball boys ended up in the backfield.
So I think Ian is an exceptionally good player, and he's been playing Bone Splitters forever. And it's like if you gave Ian a top-tier army, he'd be all over it.
Yeah.
And he's an awesome bloke. And I think Luke's good as well, but I don't know if the Deepkin are going to get through the bodies. And in a scenario where it's about bodies around objectives, he might take too long to get through it all.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm hoping the Bone Splitters take it out.
Yeah, me too,
Just a
man.
part of me
It's a bit of a romantic story, right?
Exactly.
And also that list, probably what he's playing probably isn't going to be a thing soon, right? With the War Clans book. So another last hurrah.
Yeah, I couldn't comment on that. But
I've been trying, viewers. I've been trying.
Yeah. You're not getting out of me that easy.
Like blood from a stone.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of that, I mean, that's really the top 5 tables. I think we're looking, personally, I'd imagine Mike's going to take that out against Richie,
I think
just
so.
with the board state. You've called it, I can't call it, but you think Ian, and I would love Ian Spink to take that.
It might be a little bit of romantic bias in that decision, but
perhaps, but that's good, man. Yeah. You know. And then Brian Carmichael, Mark. I still can't see exactly how that's all going to probably kick off in a couple of turns.
Yeah.
Dan's taken out Christ, and then Donal running Seraphon and Gotrek. He's trying to be the ultimate Ghostbuster against Tom Maudsley with the Legion of Grief. Obviously, that.
I think Tom's been wanting to kill Gotreks with chain rasps. He's been talking to me about it all weekend.
Oh, really?
So if you do the math, it's on.
Okay.
It's on. Yeah. They should be able to drag him down. So
I think the Rippers have taken a lot of the stuff off though, because the Rippers are great against that ethereal save.
Yeah.
Right? I think they took out maybe 20 Blade Geists.
Yeah. You just bring them back. It's fine.
Yeah. He spent 7 CP turn 1.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
still got plenty to burn.
Exactly.
So he's happy.
It just keeps coming. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's fine.
I think we've got about an hour left in the rounds.
Hour and 13. Yeah. So I think if we want to go predictions, then I reckon you're going to see table 1, James Tinsdale against Mike Wilson.
Yes, I think that's probably a solid pick. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah,
so.
or maybe it's going to be Ian Spink
versus
James Tinsdale.
I would love it to be Ian Spink.
I think James Tinsdale's going to win in his game.
And then, how do you think that Dan Bradshaw's going to? What do you think he would like to be matched into? With that Skaven list,
I think he probably wouldn't want to face the Bone Splitters.
No, he'd probably prefer Slanesh.
He'd probably prefer the Slanesh. Oh, I would, because you got the shooting.
Yeah.
So I think if he played the Bone Splitters, he'd be worried about the bow boys just shooting off the Storm Fiends, and then it's got a longer threat range, and the boar boys can come in and kill all the screens. He's going to struggle.
So I think let's say it now, right? Ian Spink, James Tinsdale, table 1, game 5. And then Spink to do the double over the Deepkin and take the title.
I think so.
That's the romantic story we all want, right?
Well, unless if he ends up playing Mike Wilson, I think Michael beat him.
Yeah. Well, that's where we are with the round, right?
Yeah.
Lots to play for, and lots of good players still in the mix.
Exactly. It's been exciting. It's good to see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. So thanks for joining us for this update video.